Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of From the District with State Senator Suzanne Weber. I'm joined, as always, with our illustrious Senator. Suzanne, you are, again, not from the district.
No, I am not. I am in my office here because this has been an extremely busy week.
Yes.
There's days when I have had 11, 12, 14 appointments with people going over bills. I've had people in here that are for bills and people who are against bills, and I've had one-person committees, and I've had 15 people committees. And, everyone comes here and with a particular desire to be able to, interface with the people in the Capitol. Today, you couldn't get around for SEIU was here, and they all had purple shirts on. And it's very interesting that, especially now because it's spring vacation. We have a lot of kids in the Capitol.
Right. Well, you mentioned purple, and it was a great lead in to our first bill that we need to talk to, which is not a bill, it's a resolution.
Right.
This is SCR 30.
30.
Those paying attention, this is an SCR, means Senate Concurrent Resolution. This is the instrument that the legislature uses to take note, to honor people, or or do things like that. So, tell us a little bit about maybe a couple of the resolutions you've done.
We had our whole session this morning was taken up by SCR 10, which was honoring the life and memory of Peter Courtney, and several senators got up and spoke about the memories of Peter Courtney, and his wife was there. And so there were funny stories, there were sad stories, but it was all very moving. And then that was followed by a House concurrent resolution celebrating the life of Dennis Richardson and his part in Oregon politics, and recognizing his family, and especially how he his kids, his family was all important to him, and the impact he made on the political atmosphere.
Yeah.
As far as being a caring person and willing to listen to everyone. Everyone spoke to his kindness, especially. And, they spoke to Peter in the way that he was kind of a grouchy old man. And
yes, he was.
Yeah, he had a frog in his office that he addressed on a regular basis. And who would know that? And then we had the third House concurrent resolution, and that was to honor a young man who died at age 20 in Vietnam.
Wow.
Paul Cochran was his name, and his mother has gifted the family home to the community, and it's being turned into a park in his honor.
Oh, that's awesome. It's really cool to do these resolutions. I think of course, I didn't know Mr. Cochran and don't know his family, but love when folks do things for the community in memory of people who have made a difference.
Yes. But in the meantime, we had, let's see, do we have 7 pages? No, we have 9 pages of bills that we did not get to because we spent our whole session honoring people. And I think that's good. It's good
every once in a while, it's a good thing. I think when I think of Secretary Richardson and Senator Courtney, those are two real statesmen, guys who they really knew what it meant to serve the people of Oregon. They certainly didn't agree probably on a whole lot in terms of policy, but true statesmen.
Yeah, they were. It was a wonderful experience to be able to recognize them.
Well, let's talk about them. We talked about the color purple, and that was
Yes. Oh,
specific.
that was,
Let's
yeah,
talk about
because,
SGR 30, which
right.
you are sponsoring. What is this? Who are you honoring? Who are you memorializing?
Well,
What is this about?
April is the month of the military child. And I
Hmm,
don't, every day and every month has a special focus, but April is the month of the military child. And so we are asking that April 10th be Purple Up Day. So everybody wears purple to recognize military children in Oregon. We
right,
have the bill to move the Summer Star, the camp, forward, and to be able to have some funding to help them, achieve the camp. And this is in line with that because Oregon has about 10,000 children with a parent or parents that are currently serving in the military.
right,
And, you know, they're they need to be recognized because they are in special circumstances. Oregon is one of 5 states in the United States that does not have a military base. And
right,
so sometimes you'll have maybe 1 or 2 children within a community whose parents are somewhere on the line. And they need to learn how to play and to know that they're not alone. And so that's why we are especially working to make sure that camp is funded. But this is an additional way, to pay attention to those children.
right. And this is an opportunity. People say, "Well, what does this do?" Really, this is an opportunity for folks to get up on the floor of the legislature and say these kids are important. Can we
Yes,
at least can we at least all agree that we should say nice things?
right.
That we can bring some attention. It gives an opportunity to just bring attention. And a
Yeah,
lot of times, especially being in the super minority, that's really the only thing you could do is draw attention to things.
right.
So this is kind of along that line.
This
And I
is a
know,
positive way to do it.
right,
We have ways of calling attention to things that we think are important with remonstrances and that sort of thing. But this is really a positive way of demonstrating that, the courage and the commitment of our military folks is important.
right. And these are, if these get to the floor, they always pass. I mean, who's going to vote
Yeah,
against honoring military children? I mean,
right,
that's that's not a good idea to vote against that. And if
right.
you think you should vote against that, you should probably re-examine your life.
Yeah.
Um,
And Governor Kotek has also signed a proclamation from her office that
right,
is recognizing um, that April is the month of the military child.
right. It's wonderful to be a kind of a bipartisan, bicameral, bi-branch uh,
Yes, there
uh,
really is.
vote. So that's wonderful. We hopefully will have all of those go through the rules committee. We talk about a lot about the deadlines of bills that have to get through by this time or that time or this time. Uh, Rules is not bound by that. Rules
No,
can pass a bill anytime.
right.
Um, and so that will be
Yes,
hopefully
because,
done soon.
I think we talked last week about the fact that we had a deadline, the 21st.
Right.
And so now we're just dealing with everything that is going to be able to go forward.
Yeah.
We're
So
not,
let's
we're not bringing anything new into the mix in
well, we
our
got a couple of bills.
standard committees.
We got a
Because,
couple of bills that we want to talk about here
yeah.
that have made it through what we call the funnel.
Oh,
That
yeah.
have made it.
And we have one more too that's going to make it through the funnel.
Yes, yes. But let's talk about a couple here. Let's talk about HB 3103. Now, this is a House bill. So it was originally introduced by Representative Owens and a number of others. Uh,
Yes.
you were the lead in the Senate.
Yes. And it requires the creation of a sustainable harvest level on state lands.
Right. Now, this is really interesting because I think one of the frustrations our side has had, and I think one of the frustrations that the industry, the timber industry has had, is that all of these limits on harvesting seem to be based almost exclusively on politics, right?
Yeah, right.
So what this bill does is it creates as you said, a sustain. It orders the harvest, the
Yeah,
state forester, when we get one, because the last one just
right.
resigned, to develop a sustainable, scientifically based, sustainable harvest system to determine how much can we actually sustainably harvest from our state lands.
Yes,
And it also lays out a bunch of appeal processes, over to appeal. So this
it's
is not.
what they say, a good bill. It should
Yeah,
pass.
it's a good bill, should pass. That's how we used to.
Well, we have to do something to take care of the angst that people have concerning harvest levels,
Right.
and the ability. The governor wants to she has goals for how many houses we should be building. Well, if we are not harvesting, if we're not continuing to harvest, we don't have the raw materials within our state to be able to accomplish that.
Right. So this bill had its public hearing quite some time ago, the 3rd of March.
Yes.
So that obviously the deadline has passed, but they are actually going to vote on this bill. In the past, a lot of our Republican-led bills, they would just languish. They wouldn't even give a public hearing. This year, we've been seeing more public hearings for those bills. This one's actually getting a vote.
Yes.
But that means we actually have to get at least. And I got to look at this. I got to look at the.
I don't remember what do we have to have.
We need We need at least, I believe. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4 Republicans. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we need at least one Democrat on the committee to vote yes. So this is the House Committee on Agricultural, Land Use, Natural Resources, and Water.
Yes.
That is
that's a huge
rivals a Senate
area
Committee on Government, and that's a million miles long.
Right.
But it does have a number of rather moderate Democrats on there. It's co-chaired by Representative Helm. I think is fairly moderate.
Yes.
Representative McClain, fairly moderate, I think. I think there's a chance here to get one vote here at a committee. So would encourage everybody. This vote is on Monday the 31st, so probably very close to when you might be watching this. If you watch us by then, please write the members of this committee.
Right.
Ask them to
encourage
vote yes.
Encourage them.
Right.
That's a good move. That's what I do tell people when they come to visit me and they say, well, this is a really good bill and we want it to pass. What do we do? And I tell them, find out the names of the people on the committees. Go to those people. Sell it to them. Sell it. If you know that it's going to go to Ways and Means, then approach the Ways and Means Committee members. Tell them how important this is. Give them the facts that'll make them want to embrace this issue.
Yeah, and of note, this bill does have a subsequent referral to Ways and Means.
Yes.
Because it will require money to be spent to do this.
Yes.
So this is just the first step. Mm-hmm. It will go hopefully to Ways and Means after this. Ways and Means hopefully will pass it. The House will hopefully pass it. It then gets shipped off to the Senate, where it is assigned a committee, but it's kind of pro forma that it's on the committee, and it'll then head immediately to the floor of the Senate. And hopefully we can get this one across the finish line, because this really will affect our life.
Oh my gosh, yes, it will.
In such an amazing way.
Yes.
With all the kicks in the teeth that our natural resources industries have gotten over the years, this would be such. It wouldn't fix all of them, but boy, it would sure give a little light at the end of the tunnel.
Yes, it would be. Say, I also wanted to tell you about another bill that is going to be coming to a vote, and that is our bill on Highway 30.
Oh, yes, we didn't talk about that, but
the committee bill, and I was so thrilled to hear this from other committee members. And it's finally coming to a vote so we can get it out of committee. We can start, it can go, it's going to have to go to Ways and Means, I know.
Yeah.
But especially with all of the issues around our roads right now, whether I just finished a telephone call with someone who was telling me once again about Highway 6 and how disappointed they are that nothing has been done, and they have to go over that highway every week, and how much it's costing everybody if the highway fails. And then we have Highway 26 with the bump at the 13-mile marker. And today, because that has caused so much damage to so many cars in the last week, ODOT is actually there fixing that. And it's not a fix. It's going to be a patch, because they're going to be taking, gravel and things out to be able to take the bump out.
Right. I think we were talking earlier, and over this last weekend.
Yes.
We did an informal call to Les Schwab and asked,
Yeah.
how many tires have broken
Yes.
in the last couple of weeks of this, and they said like 25.
Yes. And we had some great footage of a car. They had at one point in time the speed limit at 35, which was too high. But we have footage of an SUV going over the top of that bump and gaining air.
Yeah. I will admit, there have been times where I have been kind of daydreaming as I'm going over, and I do hit that thing at like 35, 40 miles an hour. And
right.
I'm just praying I'm going to have an undercarriage by the end
right.
of that.
And we did have someone that was rear-ended on that spot this week also.
Mm-hmm.
We've been keeping track of all the things that happen.
Yeah. Unfortunately, we've really understood that this is going to be a long-term project. When we started talking about Highway 6,
yes.
We tried to say a million times, this is going to take a while. Please be patient. We did the study. We got the projects. Now we actually have to keep them funded. We're working on that.
Yes.
And then they have to be done. I mean,
yes.
This will take 10 years. Like, it's terrible, but it's the reality that we face.
Right.
We can't let things get this bad ever again.
Right.
So I'm glad to hear that bill. So you've heard that from the committee. Everybody, you're getting an inside piece of information, because that is not posted yet. That work session has not been posted.
The co-chair of the transportation committee told me at 2:00 this afternoon.
Well, that is excellent news. That is another committee. Joint committees are not subject to the deadline. So any of the joint committees on transportation, joint committees on conduct or rules, all those, again, not covered by the deadline.
And I just want to tell people that the Joint Transportation Committee meets on Mondays and Tuesdays from 5 to sometimes 7 o'clock at night. Mm-hmm. And you know what? If you're interested in transportation, you need to tune in to OLIS and watch those, because you would not believe the things that you would learn.
Yeah, and the great thing about OLIS, one of the perhaps only really good websites that the state of Oregon has produced, is those are recorded. So if you've got to work or your Monday and Tuesdays are busy, just go. There's times I miss committee meetings that you're in. I'll just go back and watch them.
Yeah.
So that I can get the details. Or if I miss something, or I've got to walk out to look at another meeting or something like that. It really is. Really encourage, if you're interested in how your government works, how your legislature works, spend some time just kind of picking around on OLIS, because it really is a good thing, a good platform to use. Okay, let's talk about one more bill that again has a
Senate Bill 460.
Yep, this is a public hearing and a possible work session.
Yes.
Posted. We talked a little about this, I believe, last week. We did too much time with it, but this is the bill that would make it so that pre-apprenticeship participants don't
Wouldn't
have
have
to pay
a
the prevailing wage.
prevailing wage.
Yeah. Yeah. So
And this is, we have several Job Corps agencies throughout our state. We have young people that are in those pre-apprentice programs, and for them to get experience and be hired before they are apprentices is extremely important for their experience.
Right.
And then they can go on to the apprentice program as it's prescribed. Because, apprentice programs have rules and regulations.
Right.
And so to be able to get them jobs and not have to depend on that prevailing wage, which drives the cost of every project up. And if you're paying prevailing wage, you want experienced workers.
Right. And that's just the thing.
You don't want pre-apprentice workers.
Right.
And so I think it's only fair to these young people and to the people that have the projects.
Right. And I think that's the important thing. No matter what you feel about prevailing wage, there's people who like it, people who don't like it, people who have complicated feelings about it. I think the purpose of the prevailing wage is to make sure that people who are professionals are getting paid a living wage. And I get that. These aren't professionals yet.
Right.
These aren't even apprentices yet. These are pre-apprentices. So this is something completely different. I don't think anybody intended these folks to make prevailing wages. It's just the way the law is written. It really is a technical fix to fix something that really was never intended.
Yes.
So SB 460, it has a public hearing on April 1st at 8 a.m. In the Senate Committee on Labor and Business. So you can.
Yes. So it's at 8 o'clock in the morning. So I'm not going to be at the Tillamook County radio show at 8 o'clock on Tuesday morning.
Right. So if you want to participate in the hearing, you can. If you want to come to Salem, please register to testify. You're most welcome to. You can also register to testify virtually by going to olis.oregonlegislature.gov and then just searching for SB 460 and then click register to testify.
Yes.
If you don't want to testify live in person, you can just submit written testimony.
Always.
Going to olis.oregonlegislature.gov.
Right.
Searching for SB 460 and then click submit
there's
testimony.
a little tab on the side that says submit testimony.
Yep.
Sometimes people just say, I oppose this, or, I'm in favor of this. Good bill should pass, something like that.
And you have 48 hours.
48 hours.
48 hours after the committee hearing begins to submit testimony. So you have until 8 a.m. on April 3rd to get your written testimony in. And which happens to be 8 a.m. on April 3rd is when the posted work session is scheduled to happen. So,
and there's one other thing I ought to bring up about transportation, and I apologize for interjecting.
Okay.
We had another bill that is going to affect our area potentially, and that is the dredging bill. We're trying to get money to operate our dredges. And in our district, Astoria and Garibaldi are included in the bill.
Right.
We have a state dredge, and it travels up and down the coast. But sometimes, things go astray or wrong, or it costs a lot of money to be able to operate that dredge. So we're trying to get some funds to be able to help Garibaldi and Astoria especially.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I do want to just touch on, by the time folks listen to this, the Ways and Means Roadshow, which is the Ways and Means Committee going around the state, listening to people about how they feel the state should spend money.
Right.
This biennium, it will have already happened in Astoria, which is on the 27th.
28th.
I'm sorry, you're right.
It's tomorrow. It's the 28th, 5 to 7, Liberty Theater.
Yep.
You've each got 2 minutes to testify.
Yep. You could always submit testimony in writing as well.
Yes.
So if you're listening to this now, chances are that has passed. But wait, there's more. There are more times coming up. If in most all the in-person ones are in Eastern Oregon, Warm Springs,
Right.
La Grande, Klamath Falls, but there is one in Salem
Right.
on Wednesday, April 16th from 5 to 7, and that is going to prioritize virtual testimony. So if you want to testify about where you think the money should be spent in Oregon, you can do it virtually, or you can come to Salem if you want to come visit. But you can do it virtually on Wednesday, April 16th from 5 to 7. Again, that 2-minute time limit is got to be enforced because there's going to always be a lot of people and they got opinions.
Yes.
Senator, I think that's what we have for today. Anything
Yeah.
else? On?
Great day. We got lots of things going on tomorrow. We're besides the roadshow, we got meetings virtually on education because there's, the education bills are going to be coming. Ways and Means are going to have to be voting on those things. It's an important time. I've never been so busy in my life.
Yes, I believe the colloquial way of saying it is busy as a one-legged man in a butt-kicking contest.
Yeah.
Well, we can't.
It's always good to see you, Adam.
It's always good.
It's always good to
if we
chat.
can't have fun, if we can't laugh, we'd all either cry or drink ourselves to death.
Yes.
So we gotta laugh. We gotta laugh
Right.
and have fun in doing these things. So, Senator, always good to see you.
Always good to see you.
Appreciate having.
Thank you very much.
And thank you much, everyone. We will catch you next week.